These most rare and valuable UK Elizabeth coins hiding in plain sight, these aren't just coins, they're forgotten treasures, minting mistakes, and once-in-a-lifetime discoveries, from mysterious to legendary low-mintage pieces in your pocket change. The 1971 era UK Elizabeth I new penny coin. This might look like just another ordinary bronze coin from the early decimalization era, but what if I told you that a few secret mistakes, a handful of minting errors, and a twist in British coinage history have turned some of these small coins into unbelievable treasures today? You're about to discover exactly why collectors are willing to pay life-changing money for a coin most people tossed into jars, pockets, and biscuit tins without ever looking twice. Imagine this: it's 1971, the United Kingdom has just switched from the old pound SD system to the modern decimal system. Millions of shiny one new penny coins are rolling out of the Royal Mint to prepare citizens for the country's biggest monetary shift in generations. Most of these coins are utterly common, billions were made. But among this massive production run, a few slipped through that should never have existed. A few were struck with the wrong dies, a few with incorrect planchets, some with double strikes, off-center errors, brockages, die cracks. One of the most valuable types is the mis-struck or off-center strike. These happen when the blank planchet was not perfectly aligned within the dies. In some cases, the Queen's portrait sits noticeably off to the left or right, sometimes with a piece of the coin missing, leaving collectors stunned. These errors, depending on severity, can sell for £300 to £800 and £1,500 or more, especially when the misalignment is dramatic and the date is fully visible. Some extreme off-center strikes have even surpassed £3,000, because decimal errors from 1971 are far rarer than US error coins from the same era. But that's nothing compared to the wrong planchet errors, which are the true monsters in the world of decimal error collecting. During production, the Royal Mint was striking multiple denominations one new penny. Wrong metal planchet are incredibly valuable. Known examples include coins struck on foreign blanks or experimental test planchets. These shocking mint mistakes can reach £5,000, £10,000, and even more when authenticated, because they represent a combination of historical transition and mint oversight that can rarely be repeated. There are also double-struck errors, where the coin was struck once, ejected incorrectly, then struck again, sometimes overlapping, sometimes sideways, and sometimes with rotated second strikes. These visually dramatic errors are collector magnets. A well-defined double strike from 1971 can easily attract £1,000 to £4,000. The 1971 era UK Elizabeth I new penny has such explosive value potential is because it represents the exact moment the United Kingdom left behind centuries of traditional coinage to embrace the new decimal world. Collectors want that history. The 1971 era UK Elizabeth II new pence, a coin that millions of people around the world still have one sitting in a drawer, a jar, or an old purse without ever realizing that certain rare mistakes from this very year can turn an ordinary bronze coin into a life-changing treasure today. You're about to discover exactly why this coin, from one of the most historic turning points in British currency, has become one of the most exciting treasures in British numismatics. And trust me once you hear the story behind this coin. Picture the United Kingdom in 1971. The nation was preparing for one of the biggest transformations in its monetary system in more than a century, the shift from pound SD to decimal currency. The old pennies, shillings, and farthings were about to be replaced by a brand new decimal system. The Royal Mint was under intense pressure, striking millions upon millions of new coins to prepare the country for Decimal Day. And in this ocean of freshly minted bronze coins, something extraordinary happened: errors, mistakes, misprints, misstrikes, wrong metals, wrong dies, misaligned planchets, double strikes, brockages, clipped planchets. One of the most valuable error types is the off-center strike. When the coin blank didn't sit correctly between the two dies, the strike landed off target, leaving part of the design cut off. These coins can have the Queen's portrait shifted dramatically, or the reverse side missing a large portion of the numeral 2 or the new pence lettering. Depending on the degree of misalignment, Collectors pay anywhere, and extreme off-center examples have sold for £2,000 to £4,000, especially when the date remains visible. Another thrilling type of error is the double strike. During the minting process, if the coin was not ejected fully and was struck again, the second strike would create overlapping images, rotated portraits, or ghost-like designs. These dramatic errors are incredibly eye-catching and highly collectible. Depending on clarity and strength, a double struck can easily be worth £1,000 to £6,000, and extreme examples have reached valuations. Then there are brockages, one of the most visually shocking errors a coin can have. A brockage occurs when a freshly struck coin sticks to the die, and the next blank is pressed against it, creating a mirrored, incuse image rather than a normal strike. These errors are extremely rare for early decimal coins because quality checks were intensified. A well-defined brockage can reach £2,000, £5,000, and in exceptional. Another high-value category is die cracks and die cuts. A die cut is created when a piece of the die itself breaks off, leaving a raised blob of extra metal on the coin. These cuts can add hundreds or thousands of pounds to the value. Strong die cracks across the Queen's portrait or the numeral 2 can attract £300 to £1,200, while large cuts can reach £2,000 or more. The 1971-era UK Elizabeth V new pence, a coin so ordinary that millions of people overlooked, so mysterious that a few rare mistakes from this very year have skyrocketed its value, and in ultra-rare cases, collectors whisper about values pushing into six-figure territory. Today, you're about to discover exactly coin has become one of the most thrilling hunts in the world of British decimal numismatics. And once you understand the hidden history behind it, I guarantee you'll never look at a 5 new pence the same way again. Let me take you back to 1971, the year everything changed. The United Kingdom was preparing for Decimal Day, abandoning centuries-old coinage traditions and stepping into a new era for the Royal Mint. This was a time of intense pressure. Millions upon millions of coins were being struck at high speed. Old machinery was being replaced. Dies were being swapped. Blanks were arriving in huge batches. Workers were watching output levels more than error levels. And in this frenzy, something incredible happened: mistakes slipped through. One of the most dramatic and valuable types is the off-center strike. When the blank planchet wasn't aligned properly, the design shifted during the strike, leaving a portion of the coin blank. Some of these errors are subtle. Others are so dramatic that half of the Queen's portrait is missing or the reverse shield is cut in half. Depending on severity, off-center and extreme ones with major offsets have sold for £2,000 to £4,000, especially if the date is fully visible. But the true giants, the errors that make collectors gasp, are the wrong planchet errors. Imagine holding a 1971 5 new pence that weighs too little, or too much, or is the wrong color entirely. These happen when a blank from another denomination or even from another country accidentally gets fed into the press. Finding a 5 new pence struck on a bronze blank, foreign cupronickel blank, or leftover pre-decimal metal is like discovering buried treasure. These mistakes can command jaw-dropping prices, and in confirmed unique cases, collectors would easily pay £30,000 to £50,000 or more. Some experts believe that a few experimental test planchet strikes exist, coins minted during machine calibration using odd or non-standard metals. These pieces, if authenticated, are so rare they are almost mythological. A verified experimental metal error would easily reach £50,000, and private sales could even approach six-figure levels if the coin is unique. Another thrilling error type is the double strike. This happens when the coin is struck once, fails to eject fully, and is struck again, sometimes rotated, sometimes offset, sometimes overlapping like a ghost image. These errors are incredibly eye-catching and extremely desirable. A dramatic double struck can fetch £1,000 to £6,000, and examples with perfect overlapping features or multiple strikes can push values up to £10,000 or more. Collectors also love clipped planchets, created when the metal strip overlaps during blank cutting. These coins appear as if they have a bite taken out of them. The famous crescent-shaped clip, especially when accompanied by the diagnostic Blakesley effect, can bring £200 to £1,500, and dramatic. All these error types are fascinating, but the most exciting part of the story is that many of these valuable coins are still out there. 1971 coins circulated heavily. People stored them in jars, tins, and old collections. Many were shipped overseas. Some were forgotten in drawers. These coins have been moved, sorted, and ignored for decades, and that means there are still waiting to be discovered.